Welcome to another exciting episode of Let's Talk Show. I am your host, Ehi Ekhator, and today we are delving into some pressing issues that are shaping the political landscape of Edo State and Nigeria as a whole. As the nation grapples with widespread protest fueled by economic hardship and demand for better governance, we have the privilege of speaking with a key political figure, Right Honorable Samson Osagie. He has been at the forefront of discussions surrounding the Edo State government under Governor Godwin Obaseki. His candid perspective on the challenges facing the state and the country are certainly worth hearing. Today, what we are going to be talking about is certainly the issue that is constantly surrounding Nigeria as we speak. We are going to be bringing it back and forth, so I hope you are able to keep up with me. If my audio is not good enough, please do let me know, and then I can quickly make a quick adjustment. Yeah? Okay. Let me see. Just gonna see how it's sounding to the people. Hello. If my audio is not good enough, please do let me know, and then I can quickly make a quick adjustment. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. We've not been here for a while, but we are starting again because election is very close in Edo State. There are big tensions between, if in fact, internal conflicts in the People Democratic Party in Edo State, fueled by the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, and his deputy, Mr. Felix Schreiber. There has been a conflict that has led to the death of a police officer shot dead at the Edo State Benin Airport, and there have been some reactions and counter reactions, and Edo State is divided because of the conflict that is happening in Edo State. And I have had the privilege of bringing in Mr. Right Honorable Right Honorable Samson Osagie today. We hope for him to join us as soon as possible so we can just dive right in on the matter today. What we want to discuss is going to be surrounding Edo State, Nigeria as a whole. We will talk about the protest. So don't go away, just stay tuned. Hello, hello, hello. Can you all hear me? Hopefully you can. I can hear myself. Today we want to talk about some situation in Nigeria. We want to talk about the economic situation that is leading to Nigerians' reactions and protests and all that is going on in the country or that is being planned by angry Nigerians. Um, um, as the economic situation in Nigeria continues to deteriorate, with inflation rates reaching unprecedented level, a nationwide protest has been announced. It's later this week. I think it's on the 1st of August, and Nigerians are very ready to go for this protest. But there are reactions to this. Many Nigerians who have little businesses are worried about being hijacked by all these hoodlums, and others who believe that Nigerian government need to be taught a lesson are also hoping that this protest will bring international attention to the sufferings of Nigeria. What Nigerian government hates the most is a disregard, or let me use the word disgrace. They don't want to be embarrassed at all. So if Nigerians are able to go along and successfully protest, then this is going to cause a lot of commotion. Perhaps some issues might be addressed. What I am most concerned about Nigerian system and the protest is two things. Yes, there are going to be criminals who are going to hide under this particular protest. Genuine protest, to be honest with you. There are going to be criminals who are going to hide under it to try to loot, to try to cheat the system. And there is going to be the government officials who are going to push back by allowing what happened in the NSAR protest to happen again. Yeah, if you recall, in 2020 October, Nigerians marched because of the way the security outfit called SARS treated or were treating Nigerians, exploiting them on the street, killing them, detaining them unnecessarily, and Nigerians took to the street. A lot of people were killed, and there was never justice. So, I am very scared about this protest, and I'm worried of the implication, not the disgrace it's going to cause to the Nigerian government. God knows they deserve whatever disgrace is coming to them. From my perspective, I think my fear is the government officials, angry, disrespectful government officials who have no respect for the rule of law, understanding that Nigerians are exercising their rights, might end up instigating, using the Nigerian security forces who are supposed to be there making peace, to make sure that the hoodlums are not hijacking the protest. They will use the same people to start shooting down innocent people. So what I'm saying is there is a very, very high chance that some people will be some people we go to this protest and they will not return. That is my concern. That is my concern. Yeah. So I'm worried for this group of people. A lot of family lost their loved ones during the NSAS protest, and we are worried that this might be a repeat. And with a country like government that don't take responsibilities, life will be lost and no one is going to be held accountable. That is my concern. But if you have anything contrary to what I'm saying, I would advise you to drop a comment and I will read it out live while we wait for Right Honorable Samson Osagie to join us. I think it's a little technical issue. He said he's joining me, but I'm not seeing him yet. We just want to be able to look through all these crazy situation today and see how Nigerians will be able to get around this suffering and this nemesis, outrageous system of living. And let's see if Right Honorable Samson Osagie will be able to tell us what he thinks. I believe this discussion is going to be very insightful, educating, and hopefully you can learn one or two things from it. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere, and let's go for a quick break while we wait for Honorable Right Honorable Samson Osagie. Well, welcome back. This is Let's Talk Show with Ehi Ekhator. We are still waiting for our special guest today, Right Honorable Samson Osagie, to delve into some situations, some issues that is eating up Nigeria as we speak. And we will also quickly run around the fracas that is affecting the Nigeria or Edo State political system as it surrounds Mr. Godwin Obaseki, the deputy, Mr. Phyllis Shaibu, in the other party players that have been embroiled into this web that is unending so far. At least finally somebody has been killed because of this matter. I hope that now they can start treating it for what it is, a very dangerous situation that has been caused, don't get me wrong, is being caused by the governor himself from my perspective and the deputy governor because they've turned up the polity and it is scary to the direction is going now, and hopefully we can hear from the right honorable today on what he thinks on the matter. Don't go anywhere. We're still waiting for him, and once he's on, we will connect him right for us or to start having a very good discussion on this matter. Hello, hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, thanks for joining here. Finally.
Yes. I think there was some mix-up.
Yeah, I
I
understand that. Yes.
was on the YouTube, whereas we're
Yes,
supposed to be
YouTube
on
is for
the
the live
Zoom.
viewers. Yeah. Okay. Let's just get this started now.
Okay.
Uh,
Can you see
uh,
me now? Can you?
I can see you. Yes, I can see you.
You? Why?
I can see you. Hello. Honorable, can you hear me?
Where are you?
I can see you.
Hello.
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 Can you hear me?
I can, but I can't see. I
Yes.
can hear you. I can't see you.
Yeah, but you are visible to the live audience. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me put you on. Put you on webcam here. Bear with me.
That's okay. I'm
All
ready.
right. I'm just coming on webcam now, but your video, because I'm using a completely different program. If you are on YouTube, you'll be seeing the two of us live. It's a different program.
I
Yeah.
can see.
Okay. I
You
just
are
want you to say I'm
talking. I don't
here.
know
I'm
why.
gonna go off on this webcam here because I'm already live on the other program. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Your video is not moving. It's just static. Honorable, can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you, but you are breaking.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
I think it's the Nigerian network. That's why. We are just going to get this started. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Show. I'm your
Yes.
host, Ehi Ekhator, and today we are delving into some pressing issues that are shaping the political landscape of Edo State and Nigeria as a whole. As the nation grapples with widespread protest fueled by economic hardship and demand for better governance, we have the privilege of speaking with a key political figure, Right Honorable Samson Osagie, a legal practitioner and consultant on legislative governance. He has been at the forefront of discussion surrounding the Edo State government under Governor Godwin Obaseki, and his candid perspective on the challenges facing the state and the country are certainly worth hearing. Today, we will explore his assessment of the Obaseki administration, the root cause of the ongoing protest, and what he believes needs to be done to address the concern of citizens. We will also touch on his political relationship with Governor Godwin Obaseki and how he envisions a brighter future for Edo State. So, whether you are a concerned citizen, a political enthusiast, or someone simply looking to understand more about the dynamics at play in Edo State, this interview promises to be insightful and thought-provoking. So stay tuned as we engage in a candid conversation with Right Honorable Samson Osagie on Let's Talk Show. Right Honorable Samson Osagie, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Ekhator, for me.
Yeah, thank you for joining in. All right, so let's dive right into the heart of the matter. Edo State has been under the leadership of Governor Godwin Obaseki for some time now. How would you assess his administration performance so far?
Well, probably this is a question I will answer uh, for many reasons, amongst which are everybody in Edo State knows that I am an ardent critic of the Obaseki government, right from the cradle. And my assessment will be seen from the binoculars of the opposition. But however, I am a citizen of Edo State, and I represent a large chunk of Edo people who are supposed to be impacted by the functions and activities of government, particularly for the last almost 8 years, running now on our brother Governor Godwin Obaseki. In assessing Governor Obaseki's administration for the last 7.5 years, one would like to take it from the perspective of how well the government has of social services, how well the government has delivered in terms of infrastructure development, and how well the government have been able to lead the state politically in such a way as to measure the activities of government within the spectrum of obedience to law, compliance to due process, and of course the adherence to democratic principles and ethos. Now, if I start from the point of view of how well the government has provided social services, I would like to start from it that education and health that people desire for good living, of to adjudge it being as providing. What is the state of our health system in Edo State today? And what is the state of our educational system in Edo State? Now, no doubt, the government has made some efforts at implementing certain policies in the health sector, particularly with respect to health system policy. But the question is that how many citizens of the states are today benefiting from that policy? It is not just enough to use a policy, but you must assess how has the policy impacted. And I dare say that there isn't much, to speak about that, except services that are being provided in terms of medical outreaches here. Across the state, you cannot tell that our health service or facilities have become more improved in terms of facilities, in terms of equipment, in terms of drugs, in terms of affordability, in terms of access to healthcare. One is not able to say that there's any much improvement in that area. As a matter of fact, the major health facility in Edo State, the Central Hospital, which is now Edo Specialist Hospital, has even been privatized in such a way that the services there are beyond the reach of the common. So the question you ask again is that in terms of healthcare, this government has much, even though it rules health insurance policy. Then you come to education. The Edo-based education policy that was introduced aimed at improving not just the facilities and the infrastructures of school, but also content and curriculum of schools. But we hear that our students are doing a claim of comparative performance. But what happens to the school infrastructures, both human and material? Today in Edo State, you are going to find there are schools with headmaster and water. That is as for primary school. You have second schools with one principal and duty. So in terms of human development and human capital, man, our educational system, not much has been achieved, even though it looks like all been to the content of our education. In the absence of us, who are supposed to be the ones in the knowledge on our students, on our pupils, across all levels, primary and basic education levels, then you cannot say much has been achieved. Of course, Edo Best is being touted as a very prominent education policy that has put Edo State on a global map in terms of education. But practically, there isn't anything much to show when you go around our education as an example. Then when we go to infrastructures, yes, the government tried to renovate and complete buildings in the state secretariat, buildings that were started and probably not completed by previous administration. Well, I must commend the government for completing existing projects along that line. And that is as far as goes. The Edo State is a state that is plagued with much deficit in terms of infrastructure, for instance. Efforts that the government was making in the first term, to tar roads across the state here and there, and that the state or that end the way government. But not much of that is happening anymore. And in fact, the quality of those road projects highly compromised in such a way that they are washed up 10 months construction. So in terms of road projects, efforts that were made are not commensurate with the money that have been executing those projects. And in terms of number and of kilometers of road that have been done in Edo State, one would expect would have something far greater. As much as we also talk about the two services, propaganda had followed the efforts of government sectors that we almost think that it's now an Eldorado. I just left a party now where somebody was saying that the road infrastructures in Edo State is comparable to what we find in Abuja. I said, what a way to be a sycophant. So I think that the performance is far below expectation. In view of the huge expectation that the Edo people had at the threshold of the nation, and the huge promises made to the people of Edo State in 2016. And to the area of leadership, I say that if I were to rate the government on a ratio of 1 to 10, I would hardly score His Excellency, our brother, Governor Godwin Obaseki, maybe 1 or 1.45%. This administration that have dealt democracy a heavy blow when it ran its government within the first tenure with a legislature that was not within the context of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, particularly Section 90 and 9 of the Constitution. Ran this administration with a legislature that is not understood or that is not accepted within the context of that provision. We had a house that was less than 10 running the legislature budgets. Indeed, we can say for a fact that the expenditures of money within that first 10 fall short of the constitutional requirement of legislative approval. And we say that the government had virtually run an illegal administration and expenditure of public funds. And what we see in terms of dotting out people from government is being a major issue. This is a government out 14 elected legislators for 4 years. I mean, what democratic credential can you call that? I believe that alone has put a scar on the political leadership of the state as one that has no respect for the rule of law. It has no respect for the Constitution of the Federal Republic. And indeed, it will go down in history as one administration that had held Edo State by the jugular. Respect.
Yeah, but Honorable, let me cut in here for a minute.
And you are not unaware.
Yeah, let me cut here in a minute, for a minute. The way you talk about Governor Obaseki and his administration, many people who think that you have a personal vested interest, your dislike for Godwin Obaseki is the reason you criticize his administration and his achievement. What would you say to that?
Did I hear you clearly, please? I didn't understand why you say people say what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that most people who understand that you are an ardent critic of Godwin Obaseki, who believe because your stance of his administration and performance is coming from his difference with his former boss, Adam Soshomole, they might believe that your view is not credible based on your sentiment.
Listen. Okay, listen. I think I can get some snippets of what you are saying. Don't forget that at the beginning of this interview, I told you that I'm another critic of this.
Yes.
Because I never believed in it from the beginning. And I have never wavered. When you wasted him on the party, I was one of the very few, very miniature few that said no, there was no hope with this administration. So if people say so, of course, I gave that caveat at the very beginning that views about this government will be viewed from the binocular those who sees me as an ardent critic of this government. And I haven't changed. And it is not because of any personal reasons as between me and the government. It is because of what I see. And I am a citizen of Edo State. And I'm a federal legislator. And even as a federal legislator, I had cause to criticize the federal government in areas where they are not. So I am doing this and I am saying this from the bottom of my heart and from the perception that we expected much more. We hear that the Technora was coming to turn it. So it isn't my business whatever people think why I'm talking. I've been very consistent in my relationship with the Obaseki government in terms of my views. It has not changed. And recall that point I told you I wasn't ready to grant interviews in 4 years of this session. I have hardly granted any interview about this administration because I said I was not going to. I'm not going to speak now. But I think the time is right for Edo people to be told and for me that the expectations of Edo people from the Obaseki government in the last 8 years was greater than what we can see. Indeed, we can hardly see and we can hardly feel, much impact from this government. And that is not commensurate, even if there is not commensurate with the picture of revenue and the amount of borrowing that this government has engaged in the last 8 years. And I dare say so, and I apologize for that. So I was coming to issue of political leadership. As you can see, this was a government that didn't have emotional intelligence in dealing with political dynamics of the state. I mean, he got a ticket almost on a platter of gold. He got of his boss, Governor Godwin, Senator Adam Soshomole. And then the next thing he did was to shut out the entire party, from contributing to his government. And he turned it against them as wanting him. Now, he didn't share public funds. What achievement has he made? He tried to decimate the All Progressive Congress, and he couldn't do that. And he went over to the PDP, rescued him, and gave him the umbrella to cover him while he was being beaten, by the rains. And then you ask me the question: relationship with PDP landlords that he met in the party. He has sacked all of them and has imposed his whims and caprices on them. So in terms of political leadership, this government lacks democratic credentials of any kind. He has created a lot of division among not only just the political players of the state, but among the rank and file of Edo people, especially with the subtle attack on traditional institutions. You are not unaware of that. We are a very sensitive race, particularly the Beninese, and any act to toy with the traditional stew of the Oba of Benin is regarded as on the Edo people. And the activities of the government, in this regard, have been less than salutary, particularly in the last 8 years. So if we were to assess the administration on basis of political leadership and development, what he has done to Edo State is far less than what was expected. He has a lot of division. He has tried to decimate political actors, and he has done that and created a lot of confusion, of division among the people. The responsibility of any government is to ensure that people live in peace and harmony. And that is why he must run the government with the legislature in a manner that brings instability to the state. As so today, none of the major political parties, especially the one he is running now, that is scintilla of harmony. He created disharmony in his first party, he created disharmony in the second party. And yet he wants to have his way by imposing his candidate on a document. So the election will determine the outcome of his actions at the end of the day. Let me stop there at this point.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I want to just kind of hit it at the jugular. How would you describe Godwin Obaseki? Just one word, because you did mention how he had fallen out with most people who gave him the umbrella to pursue his political ambition, and Obaseki is arguing that these people he had fallen out with were those who wanted to jeopardize his government. He's always looking for sort of monetary contracts that they can never complete. So if you were to describe Governor Obaseki personality, what would you call him?
Honestly, I do not think that there is any need to go personal because we are discussing public issue. To ask me to describe his personality is to require me to descend into using evidence, that not describe him in some salutary light in view of my analysis of his address. If you watch carefully, I refuse to talk about him in the first person singular. I have referred to his government.
Yes.
Not in necessary. So I beg to decline to answer that question, because to want me to answer to describe him, in one word, is to subject me to descending into attacking his personality, and I do not think I need to do so.
All right. Yeah, no problem at all. Let's take it a little further. Election is coming in Edo State. It's very tough now. There was a shootout in the Benin airport the last time. There have been blames and counter blames from the Obaseki camp and Shaibu camp and the governorship candidate whose security aide was killed. What is your view of what happened at the airport? Who do you think is responsible for the death of the police officer?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, I must say your network is very slow. It's showing on the screen.
I can hear you. My stuff is being affected with. It's my phone.
Yes, your network is very slow. My question was the incident that happened at the Benin airport that led to the death.
My source of panic. Apologies.
It's all right.
Now, the incident that happened in the airport.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Ekhator.
Yes.
The incident that happened in the airport is most unfortunate, and again, it exposes, the underbelly of an administration that is intolerant of opposition. Now, how do you explain an attack on a governorship candidate and a deputy governor of the state right at the airport or at the gates? So it is preposterous. It's preposterous, their suggestion that Honorable Philip Shaibu, who won his case in court against the government over his impeachment, is the one that organized that on himself. It's preposterous. It is an argument non sequitur. It doesn't follow. Now, the truth of the matter is that this government has been intolerant of any opposition and scared by the fact that Philip Shaibu was supporting the APC candidate. They reckoned that their coming into town was going to create a lot of discomfort. So they probably sent their security network, to relay them at the airport. Well, I am not making a conclusive argument because in there, I'm caveat. But I believe that the police and the security forces in the state will be able to unravel it. But the point I'm making is that it is unthinkable that Shaibu or Senator Mendo Okwebolo, who have Benin Airport together, will be the same person to organize people to attack them. It is unthinkable. And that is why I find the argument very affable. So I expect that the police will do the right thing, or the security force. It shows the intolerance in the state. These people could have to be go to their various destinations. People even know it. If it is welcoming of Philip Shaibu from Abuja by his supporters, there have been incidences where Governor Samson Osagie, even Ehi Ekhator, is being away at the airport. People are waiting. Top political leaders, they go and wait for them at the airport and welcome them. That was what people were waiting to welcome Philip Shaibu. So that was this one different. And why are they arguing? Why are they not arguing that Philip Shaibu organized the people to also attack himself? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Common sense is that this attack was who were on with the judgment that Philip Shaibu had gotten. And in order to put fear on Philip Shaibu and his supporters, they engage on that dastardly act that has taken the life of a young man who has a wife, children, and a family he's fending for. I mean, to go the other way. And to also think that the governor of the state will go to the extent of trades with those who have suffered injury and threaten that if such an event occurs, the entire country exposes the underbelly of the administration as being intolerant, being vindictive, and being violent prone. It is unfortunate. As we go to the election, that though the security forces apparatus of the state must take note that election is not a do or die affair. The people must be allowed to vote. Opposition must be allowed to breathe. The government must ensure, the government must know that in the elections, it is either you win or you lose. And election does not mark the end of anybody's life, and losing an election does not also terminate life. I mean, we have seen it in the state. And that is why, for me, that effect also casts a very serious scar on the political record of this administration in Edo State.
Well, thank you very much for your insightful view on the incident of that happened in Benin Airport. That was very heartbreaking, honestly speaking. I want us to take it to the national scene now.
Very heartbreaking.
Yeah, I want us to take it to the national scene now. I understand you are aware of this nationwide protest that is being organized by aggrieved Nigerians. Some people claim they are political oppositions that are responsible. What do you think of this upcoming nationwide protest by angry Nigerians?
Well, first and foremost, let me state very clearly that as a lawyer and a constitutional lawyer for that matter, and as a Democrat, I strongly believe that the right of the people to express their grievances against the government they have elected is unimpeachable, and indeed it is in and And to that extent, the people reserve the right to protest. The challenge of our democracy is that people hide under that right to cause a lot of abuses. And people who are ordinarily not satisfied with the outcome of the election that has brought up this government are likely to hide, or they are already hiding under it in order to cause suppression, put the government in bad light before the next election. And then what is the solution? It is my humble view that this government may need to review some of its policies in order to ensure that succor comes to the people of this country. The prices of commodities have come down for the people to be able to make some meaningful living. I am a citizen of the country, and I believe that we all attend this market. I mean, we appreciate that government is embarking on reforms in order to ensure that the economy is straightened in the near future or in the long run. But if these policies are biting too hard from the way it is, nothing stops government from making adjustments in the short run and gradually gravitate towards changing some of the parameters by which the government is being administered. I am not by any means critical of government in this direction. I know that the Nigerian state today requires a surgical operation, and it is only a brave and bold and courageous administration like the administration of President Tinubu that can actually attack some of these things headlong. And that is why some of these policies are coming, because you know that before things can get better, they usually get more difficult. I am an SMSE operator. I mean, I know what it costs to run business. It is not easy. But I believe that this government needs to be given opportunity, to run through its program. This protest, notice that has been given, is already loud enough that you can see government is already putting a lot of things, giving the minimum wage which the legislature passed for one day. Nobody is talking about the speed with which that minimum wage act was passed. Nobody is talking about it. If it was some other legislation, they will say they are self-serving. I mean, government is planning to pay graduates that have no jobs, some money until they get jobs. These are some of the palliatives. Perhaps these are the areas the government is using to respond to the cries of the people. I believe that as time goes on, government will do everything to regulate some of these economic conditions that have led to high price and services in the market. When we preach about a free economy where market forces determine the prices of goods and services, I dare say that no free economy exists where government does not intervene. Even in the US, that would have as a free market economy, have interventions from government from time to time. The Wall Street have received so much intervention from government, a number of occasions, and so many assets, banking sector. So in this direction, I believe that government must ensure that it intervenes in the area of price regulation, and of course, when they establish commodity board and price control board, this duty is to ensure that prices of goods and services are within bearable limits for the citizens. And they must invest in industrialization, because the major cause of the challenge of this country is that we do nothing and we eat everything. Even the little local production that we have, we don't consume them, because our taste, ordinary Nigerian, their tastes are so high that they prefer ready-made goods. So we need both the government needs reorientation in order to look in ways to sort our problem. We need to produce more. This country needs to produce more. Luckily, we have natural resources, we have mineral resources in this country that can be produced and exported and yield this country a huge amount of it. So coming to the protests, I beg those Nigerians that are angry that their voices have been heard. Their complaints have been heard. Indeed, they have spoken on behalf of very many Nigerians, if not all Nigerians. But the truth of the matter is that such protests are not likely to yield much result in terms of making government to turn things around like with a magic wand. If anything, it can lead to chaos, it can lead to destruction of public property and private property. We know what the NSAS protest did to us. Look at Kenya now, it's looking an example. I mean, Kenya is going to suffer for many years to come. You know, the result of it. They may be succeeding in bringing government to its knees, but at what cost to government and to the society?
Yeah, honorable, right, honorable. Let me cut in here. What I don't understand is, does it need to get to this point? See, Nigerians have been very patient. They have been surviving from hand to mouth, pretending or hoping that one day maybe the right person will come in. And they go to the poll, they want to vote for someone, and at the end of the day, the people they want to vote for never get to the office, and the things keep going bad. The cost of school fees now for private school, cost of buying even a small egg in Nigeria, the cost of transportation, everything is going out of hand. So when Nigerians decided, because protests in Nigeria, or a very cooperative nationwide protest in Nigeria, hardly existed. It's not something that is very common. When Nigerians come together to protest against a particular thing, it means it is affecting all of them, and they have bear it for so long that it has not changed. There have been promises made. Now under President Bola Tinubu, there is the economy is not going upward. I understand that the things will go bad before it get better, but it's just going bad. The unemployment rate is not stepping up. The economy is not stepping up. Electricity is not getting better. There is no news of any sort of a tiny improvement since it took office. We don't need 4 years and beg for another 4 years that he needs more time. So Nigerians are angry. Do you think, I want to ask, do you think this is justified?
I think you were asking whether it needs to get to this stage.
Yes, that is my question. Does it need to get to this point?
You were asking whether it... Yes, that is the challenge. I agree it does have to get to this stage. I agree. It doesn't have to get to the stage where you complain before you start acting. But governance is not as easy as we look at it. You see, efforts are being made. You remember at the time, in 2-3 months ago, the dollar rate to naira was dropping. Appreciating, government has done some things that is making the dollar to drop. But the thing keep going on. Again, there are forces within the economy that are not also patriotic to allow economic to run smoothly for the benefit of people. So there are laws to be put that the government needs to do. And my position is that there is no magic to solve these things. Whatever drastic measure governments take in economic crisis situations are usually taken. And I think we need to begin to do that temporary measures. And by the time we continue with such temporary measures, it will get to a time where we will not be able to do any permanent action anymore, and the thing will get out of hand. And I think that is what we're going to do by strengthening the regulation mechanism to ensure that at some point things will stabilize. But it's becoming unbearable for the Nigerian people. So government needs to rethink in order to soften the hardship people are going through. No doubt about that. Position, my thesis is that protests are likely to cause damage to public institutions, public things. Individuals are likely to lose their life, are likely to hijack it for their selfish gains, because hunger in the land. When there is mass revolution in a country, those who are hungry find it as an opportunity to loot and ruin other people's investment, government investment. You can't deny that fact. So this is that there should be engagement with government, and there should be a dialogue with government in a way that the demands that have been put forward by government will be tabled officially, and government must meet them one another. And these are not demands that you can just meet with a magic wand. That's my position. The government will meet them after the order. So I advocate that both government and the organized Nigerian protesters, must continue to dialogue, because the Nigerian protesters and the Nigerian citizens have a right to demand for good governance. It's their right. And this government has also said that the task of governing Nigeria in a way to provide good governance is their responsibility, because they ask for the job. The president said so many times. So I have no doubt in my mind that the president means well and wants to make a difference, wants to make life more meaningful. But crippling the Nigeria economy and causing more harm to the state and its citizens, the solution, it can only draw us back. Let's talk, let's dialogue, let's engage, rather than engaging in violent protestations and so on and so forth. That's my point.
Yeah, thank you. But do you think the government is willing to dialogue? Right now, you see the speed of light at which the minimum wage passed through the approval now, whatever it is, but it has been delayed for months. There has to be deliberation on whether to increase it. 70,000 naira is a peanut to comparing it to the current economy state. Why does it have to take this long to pass this minimum wage? If this was passed earlier, this would have at least cushioned the effect of the bottleneck inflations that is eating the economy. And now I want to ask a simple question. The Bola Tinubu assumed office in August. August 21st, if I'm not mistaken, and next month is going to be 1 year since he assumed office. Let's say for a year, what do you think? What would you say that the Tinubu government has done so far that you can see is going upward? Something. What do you think he has done so far?
Asking me to assess the Tinubu administration, right?
For 1 year, something that the government has done that you think is affecting, that is positively to Nigerians' life. 1 year now, because August 21st is when Tinubu assumed office. What do you think he has done? He has done that you think that Nigeria are feeling for a year.
Well, in assessing the Tinubu administration, in assessing the Tinubu administration, we will also assess it vis-a-vis the performance of various sub-national governments. Because the of Nigeria is not the government in Abuja. It also includes the sub-national levels, because it is central government. So in the first place, I say that you accrued from the federation account, which the Tinubu government have distributed to the various sub-national governments, including local governments, have increased tremendously. The reason for that increase was the stoppage, or the supposed stoppage, of fuel subsidy. That is one. Two, this government has taken the bull by the horn to ensure that local government system works for the people at the grassroots. Those who engage in government reforms in 1906 meant local government administration to be the government closer to the people, so that they can provide hands-on services that will be of benefit to the people of the localities. Our citizens are in the local government, whether in urban or rural areas. And you are aware that local government action have been prostrate on account of how sub-national chief executives have emulated them and seized their revenue and divert it for their offices. So if the Tinubu administration have taken the bull by the horn through its attorney general by getting a Supreme Court to give political bite to the provisions of Section 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to the extent that local government must be autonomous, and that their revenue must be given to them direct, and that they must be held accountable for how they use the revenue. And what is the purpose of this? To ensure that apart from state government, local government are able to provide social and economic services to the people. I am a witness to the fact that in this country, at the threshold of this republic, local government councils who have short kilometers of road in their localities. You agree with me that what we now have is that states have not only the resources of local government, they're taking over their function, not able to deliver. Apart from that, states have been refusing to pay the requisite 10% of their own internal revenue to local government councils, and the money that comes from the federal councils are hijacked at the point of the joint account for the states and the local government. So, Tinubu administration has optimized towards repositioning a local government administration that will give the local. But let me tell you, let me shock you. The sub-national governments are not happy at. And that is where that suit was opposed by the 36 states across the country. And what does that tell you? So the government in Abuja, we call that government, cannot provide all these needed services that every citizen needs in every locality. The government and the local government level need to be strengthened to be able to provide basic amenities, pipe water, great fair roads, if possible, on feeder roads, engage cultural services and empower local farmers. But this is what the state governments are castrating. And government is saying no. Local government have to function. And I think that's a great achievement. Then the reforms in various sectors, the monetary and the fiscal sectors, are very harsh. And that is why we have high rate of inflation, not produce anything, so on and so forth. So the government is not without any credit in the last 1 year. And don't also forget that it does not just start from the day you take it. You take over the liability of the administration that you are taking over from. And then if there are credits, you also take. But you know that the liabilities are usually more. So as much as we cannot say it's Eldorado, Tinubu government done 100% what it promised. It has taken both steps in certain directions to ensure that certain things are done right. And they are quite honestly speaking.
Well, thank you. Nigeria is sick. Right, Honorable. Nigeria is sick. I want to ask you just a genuine question from a concerned citizen. What is wrong with Nigeria, and how do you think we can purge Nigeria of this illness that is dragging us down and dragging us into chaos? How do we purge this country of corruption?
Yes, the first thing is government need to be
Honorable. Hello.
very cover looted funds running it.
Sorry, you went offline for a minute.
Billions, several billions.
Hello.
I think it's okay now. I'll send the person a test. Just a moment.
Okay.
Because I have another meeting soon. And
Okay.
I hope this one closes early.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll be quick.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, the network is very bad. It's really slow. Can you hear me?
No, yes, I was receiving a call.
Okay.
Yes, I was receiving a call from somebody. And
All
my
right.
phone is the source of my internet. How about that?
Yeah.
So I was saying that what government should do to curb corruption is that
Yes.
government needs to be very brutal with corruption. It needs to recover trillions of Nigerian naira that have been looted over the years. Nigeria has no business crying that it to do what it has to do. It can recover a lot of funds. I read what Remi Falana wrote. I read it this morning about the areas in which funds have been looted. They were not looted by spirits, they were looted by Nigerians. Those involved in this looting may not be governors alone. Many businessmen are complicit in the corruption that have bedeviled this country over the years. So Nigerian businessmen should also be patriotic. If we say Nigerian politicians are not patriotic, Nigerian businessmen provide, the SPV, what they call a special purpose vehicle for those corruption to fester. So it is the responsibility of both government and middlemen, business, to ensure that are drawn accountably and transparently. There are so many loopholes. There are so many needs to be recovered. So will cover these looted funds and block a lot of loopholes, in the economy, and then the country will be revived.
Thank you. But recovering the loot, I don't think is the primary issue here. I think the major issue is transparency. EFCC, ICPC, they have been recovering loot over the years. But the question is, this recovered loot, what are they spent on? Where is the money going to? Nigerians are not aware. Government institutions are run like a secret society. Nigerians are not taken along. A institution full with what's it called, secrecy. There tend to be a certain high level of corruption. So the question is, why is Nigerian government not promoting transparency to make sure that the officials who are corrupt will not have the opportunity of stealing this money? We don't know the money recovered by EFCC and ICPC, the money, what is spent, what this money went into, or what the money was spent on. Nigerians are not aware. Nigerians don't trust EFCC. They don't trust ICPC. Yes, they don't trust any organization. There is distrust. So, how do we promote transparency? Honorable.
Listen, I believe that there should be more transparency in government. I believe that even if that were looted or recovered, should be transparent. I mean, I can't speak for government on that, on why there will be no transparency. I advocate for transparency as far as that matter is concerned. That is the truth of the matter. Because this is our country and we have no other country. So if funds are recovered, it's transparently dealt with in the public interest. One of the private prosecutors has said that the reason why he was sacked from his job, that is Obodo Obla, was because he revealed certain monies that were to be recovered last administration. So that is not transparency. So my view is that when EFCC, ICPC recovers any money, the government should have the way to deal with it transparently. So for me, based on transparency and accountability, are not negotiable. I mean, it doesn't matter which government is there. It doesn't matter political leaning. They are not negotiable. And if I was in parliament, I would say so. As I'm not in parliament, I'm saying so. Because ultimately, the government has a responsibility to provide good governance. And good governance provide good for the people. And if the people are not enjoying any scintilla of life, they have to rise and demand accountability. And that is the situation we are now. So I believe, to a large extent, this government has the capacity to deal much more transparently with public funds than what we have had in the past. They should demonstrate that in no unmistakable terms.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I just have a few more questions because you did say that you have another meeting soon. Yeah, I'm just going to be very quick. Just one or two questions more. You remember Nigeria started its whistleblowing policy, because we are talking about corruption now. Nigeria talked about whistleblowing policy. Nigerians were encouraged to come forward and blow whistles on corrupt practices. Do you know that those whistleblowers were the victims of government policy, and no one comes up now to blow whistle because the initial, those people, previous ones that came forward and tell on other people, were punished. Some lost their job, some were hiding, their families were in danger. There is no law that protects whistleblower till date. So when I ask you just now, one way you think government can fight corruption in Nigeria, whistleblowing policy was a very instrumental tool that the government could have capitalized on, but this was never fruitful because of the people that they were telling on were those who actually asked them to blow whistle. They have people all over the places, and the whistleblowers became a danger. My question is, do you think the government can bring back whistleblowing policy as part of the tool to fight corruption? Bola Tinubu government can reintroduce that whistleblowing policy, make laws to protect the people who will be blowing whistles, and make sure this is more effective. Do you think that is a thing that Tinubu government can embark on and achieve? Question. Do you think whistleblowing policy?
I believe whistleblowing policy
was
one good policy.
Yeah.
The last administration started it along the line, and it whittled down, and it was precarious. I advocate that this administration should encourage the policy so that citizens' government to recover looted funds. It wasn't well managed in the last administration. It started by that last administration. At the time, it was whittled down. Maybe because of those who were now informed. But it was not a policy that was vetted transparently. And you cannot introduce a whistleblowing policy, limitations on what information you can receive and what you cannot receive, or what information you can deal with and what you cannot deal with on the basis of sentiments. So if the government introduces whistleblowing policy, it has to be total. And whoever is named and the investigation proves it right, it has to be total, and the investigation has to be done, and the appropriate punishment has to be meted out.
Thank you.
So it's a policy that government needs to encourage in order to fast track the process of recovering looted funds in our country.
Thank you, Honorable. Yeah, I have one more question for you before you go. What is your view for Edo State? Because I'm bringing it back home now, so we are coming to the end of our discussion. What is your vision for Edo State, and what would you like to tell the citizens who are feeling disheartened by the current situation?
But my view for my opinion and my views and wish for Edo 2024 going forward is that we should have a government that understands the people, that relates with the people, that are been part and parcel of the history of our people, and understands that governance is not rocket science. It is essentially the management of public resources for public good and not for personal aggrandizement. I believe that the last 8 years have been a very serious rough ride for the Edo people. You know, basically made up of a lot of motion without movement. We need a government that will be practical. I mean, they are tying a road with the best quality, you see it being done. They are building an hospital with the equipment, you see it being done. Based on voodoo economics and postulations that the people themselves don't understand. So we cannot have an elitist government that does not meet the needs and aspirations. We have had an elitist government in the last almost 8 years, and it has not to be better off for the people of Edo State. So Edo people need a government that will be a government that feels their pains, a government that understands their plight, a government that will borrow money for agricultural purpose, and you will see the farm and the people for it. A government that will borrow money for housing, you will see the housing projects, and so on and so forth. So we need a practical government to be led by people who are part and parcel of our history, and not quote unquote those who are hired to come and govern us on the basis of their supposed technical knowledge or academic qualifications.
Who do you think should be that government?
This is not a forum for campaign. I hope
I know that. I completely understand that. I want to know, because you are advocating for a better government. I want to also know, because when you and I spoke before, I thought you were running for governorship position. I'm asking, who do you think will be in a better position to bring all this together, the one you just mentioned now? We are expecting new people to be in office in the next few months. Should we hope on them to bring all your highlights into fruition? Who are we hoping to bring this to fruition? Which person are you thinking, or political party do you think can bring this?
Since 16, I'm a member of the All Progressive Congress. I'm a member of the All Progressive Congress. I believe the two young men, that the All Progressive Congress have produced will be able to lead Edo State on the practical governance and provision of social services that will meet the aspiration of Edo people. And that is Senator Mondo and Honorable Dennis, Governor and Deputy Governor. They represent the reality of the state in terms of, understanding the people themselves. They haven't lived with them, haven't served with them, haven't been their representative. They understand what it means to serve and what it means to represent the people and their interests. They are the only two people who understands the current economic practicalities. It's not about funding voodoo economics and high-sounding fallables, to bamboozle the people into believing that we are highly educated. It's practical. These guys have the experience of repression already, and it will not be difficult for them to continue to provide services to Edo people on a basis, and of course on a sustainable basis. Senator Monday and Honorable Dennis Dahusa, two young men, both of less than 55, are better placed at this point in time, to lead our state with the support of Edo people, to a new level where we will have abundance of social service provided and infrastructural development.
Well, thank you. And then, there's been a lot of network problem all from the onset. If you are just joining us, that is Honorable, Right Honorable Samson Osagie. It's a former Nigerian lawmaker, and is a very ardent critic of the current government in Edo State, and is a member of the APC. He's joined us today to share his insight with us. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today, Right Honorable Samson Osagie. Thanks for joining us. Okay, well, thank you to all our viewers. I want to say thank you for joining us today. Right Honorable Samson Osagie is just jumped back in. I was just thanking you for joining us today for this wonderful and insightful discussion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ekhator, for inviting me to your program.
Thank you for joining in. Yeah, and hopefully we'll have you again.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, I want to thank all the viewers today. I want to thank all our viewers for tuning in to this episode of Let's Talk Show. We hope you found this discussion enlightening, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more engaging conversations. Until next time, I want to say take care and enjoy